Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us on this special episode of The Angry Astronaut. As planned, every couple of weeks, I said that I was going to be doing a show specifically for the angry advocates, those who support this channel, either on Patreon or by hitting that little join button. That doesn't necessarily mean that you can't watch it. Everybody is welcome to watch. Those who want to make comments, though, you can be a member either by hitting that join button or becoming a Patreon supporter. Either way works. Anton, thank you so much. Really appreciate you being here. I am going to go ahead and dive that. John, thanks very much. As angrily as you possibly can. I'm going to catch up a little bit on some of the comments that were made on live stream Q&A, which is where most of the Patreon folks make their comments. William, good morning to you from Sacramento. My daughter is actually dating a fellow from Sacramento. Has been dating him for quite a while, actually. I think it seems to be pretty serious. Supax, thank you so much again, brother. Really appreciate your generous support from up in the Great White North. All right. So one comment that was made in a great big graph included here on Discord was how that there's 1% reserved for science and NASA. Anton, thank you so much for your support as well. You guys are the best, let me tell you. So when they're looking about discretionary spending, mandatory spending for the US government, less than 1% for NASA. Okay. And by way of comparison, you have like 28% for health, which is understandable, but there's probably a lot of waste in there. An enormous amount for Social Security, over 25%. And of course, you have the defense budget, which is over 16%, or to put that into dollars, nearly $800 billion being spent on the military. Now, I don't know why we can't make do with 5% less of that, because we just did a 10% increase in our military spending. Why couldn't we do a 5% cut? Because a 5% cut is $40 billion. That would put so much money in NASA's coffers, they wouldn't know what to do with it all. So let's see. Lord Michael Burkhardt made a statement. I don't understand why so many want to cut there. We could have 10 SLS launches a year and it wouldn't even be noticed. That is very true. 97 watching. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Not sure if all of you are angry advocates, but please like, please subscribe. And if you do want to participate, hit that little join button or join on Patreon. I posted today in invitations for Discord, so you can join us right away if you were to do that, or just do it for the next time. Let's see. It would help with the British space industry if the crown would support space. Yeah, it'd be nice if Queen Elizabeth were to say something like that. I don't see that coming from her or her son, to be honest. And sadly, not even her grandson, because he's talking about how space flight is a waste and we need to concentrate on Earth, blah, blah, blah. So unfortunately, the crown seems to be doing a lot to oppose space flight. And that is quite annoying, to say the least. Oh my. Huh. Interesting. Let's have a look. I did not plug in my computer. Be right back, guys. There we go. Battery was running low. Can't believe I did that. Sorry, guys. But I am back. Let me go ahead and try to catch up on some of these comments here. Seeing renderings, yes, there is a mention made of the Skylon. I've talked about Skylon a number of times, actually, on my British spaceflight videos. Their space plane, essentially, but that uses hybrid engines that essentially similar to what the SR-71 used, but they convert over to hydrogen and oxygen rocket engines once they achieve a certain speed. Yes, the saber engines, as Carl Thamel says, they are saber engines that are air breathing until around Mach 5 and then change into rocket mode. And by the way, even though Skylon has gone through all kinds of delays and not a whole lot of funding, they've got, quite a lot of funding from the European Space Agency, actually, but not nearly enough funding. And then there's been a transition. Now we have a situation to where, the company that makes these engines, these saber engines, are being very aggressive about constructing them, and they are openly talking about a new version of Skylon. They even have some mock-ups for it, etc. So it doesn't seem that the British have given up on this concept. They just made a new manufacturing facility, as I mentioned in my previous video. So, anyway, who knows? And by the way, for anybody watching, please hit that notification bell. I've recently discovered that less than 20% of my subscribers have the notification bell hit. And I was told by my colleagues at YouTube that if that number were closer to 40 or 50%, my problems would be over. I wouldn't need to ask you guys for support. I'm very grateful for your support, but at the same time, I'd rather have YouTube pay my bills than you guys pay my bills. But nevertheless, Harry is a space supporter, keeping his wife safe from the people who attacked his mom. Yeah, that would actually make some sense. There's a whole lot of talk about that particular topic and a huge tragedy, I must admit, the moment I heard about it. Wow. I will never forget the day that Princess Di was killed. That was tragic indeed. I'm sorry, got a voice in my ear. 130 watching. Wow, thanks guys. I appreciate it. I'm sure not all of you are supporters or are angry advocates, but if you are, thanks for tuning in. Hi Q, thank you so much for the 2 quid. Ignore the British family. The rest of us do. Yeah, yeah. It's interesting though, those enormous crowds that show up for these big events for the royal family. Seems that there still is a lot of love for that family. I mean, I talked to some Norwegians at one time, and of course, Norway has their own royal family too, and nobody really cares up there. It's not a big deal. The royal family in the UK is a big deal to a lot of people, although maybe more so with people outside of the UK than elsewhere. Anton, thank you so much for your support. Framrick, another friend of mine from the UK, says, unfortunately, the Saber engines from reaction engines may be used on hypersonic missiles. Yes, that is entirely possible. And it says, would it be great if it were used for hypersonic cruise passenger jets? Yeah, that's what I would prefer to see. I mean, I don't know. What does the UK really need with hypersonic missiles? I mean, they've got a pretty substantial Trident submarine fleet that would be capable of annihilating a huge section of Russia if they wanted to. I really don't see why there's a necessity for additional nuclear capability on the part of the UK. They already have enough to do frightening amounts of damage to anybody. Anton M, over 140 watching. Wow, you guys are tuning in. Thank you so much. Once again, everybody is welcome to watch. If you want to comment, be part of my little club, that sort of thing, just hit that little join button. It's pretty inexpensive, or join via Patreon. That's in the link. And thanks, Framrick. Really appreciate that. Cutting edge of space. I do my best. I definitely research a lot of this stuff that other people may not have reported on, especially if we're talking about European space flight. So I am here to answer your questions and comments and that sort of thing. So in any event, let's see what else we got here. Lord Michael says, I'm sure they probably want an option that does not include the extinction of human civilization. Yeah, that'd be nice. Be nice to not have that situation crop up. So, and unfortunately, it's a scenario that's looking more and more likely all the time. I hate to say things like that, but it's true. Framrick, thank you so much for the 10 quid. Really do appreciate it. I can't wait to come out to Suffolk to pay you a visit. And yes, I will keep sticking it to the man. But yeah, I'm going to be there in less than a month. Less than a month. How do we get those subscribers up? Yeah, the tattoo. That's true. I do need the 100K. I do need those 100,000 subscribers if I am to do the tattoo thing. But once again, SpaceX has their part to play. They've got to get Starship on a successful orbital test, and by successful, I mean get it to orbit, re-enter. Yeah, Boy, that was a $20 super chat. Thank you very much. Let me check real quick to see if I can pull up the comments real quick, and then we seem to be having a bit of a problem with the chat server, but that no, I see it. I see it here. Okay, no problem. Just a moment. Why can't the industrial military complex find a profit stream from space exploration instead of dominating this one planet? Well, they are kind of. The U.S. Space Force is investing millions of dollars in new types of cutting edge, bleeding edge military propulsion technology, especially nuclear thermal, that sort of thing. So they are starting to invest in it, just not much compared to all the other different divisions of the military. So thank you so much for your support, Merlin, for the 20 pounds. That makes a huge difference, let me tell you. The time is getting short. I'm going to be going to see Artemis, and then I'm going to the UK. Big time, the most ambitious travel schedule I have ever undertaken for this channel by far. So I really do appreciate it. A lot of it's already paid for, fortunately, but not all of it. So you guys are amazing. Your support is deeply, deeply appreciated. Okay, let's have a look here and see if we have anything else coming on. Hypersonic missiles harder to shoot down than ballistic missiles in space. That's true. Hypersonic missiles are very, very dangerous indeed. If congressional and old school industrialists realized how much wealth could be made in space mining, yeah, NASA would have more money and it could spend. And that's disappointing to me. Excuse me. Elon Musk has not spoken very enthusiastically about asteroid mining. I don't quite get it. There's a lot of money out there, lots of money out there. And yeah, there have been a number of asteroid mining companies that have tried and failed. But the reason they try and fail is because they don't have enough funding. If we're talking a multi billionaire, they can make it happen. Definitely. I would be, it's the first person to invest billions of dollars in asteroid mining will be the first trillionaire. It's as simple as that. All right, I'm checking a super chat that was just brought up apparently. Bear with me for just a moment here. Where'd it go? Hang on. Up there it is. I got it. Dale Kirkwood, 20 pounds. Thank you. Be sure when you're in Scotland you have some. Thank you. I do appreciate that. My favorite thing in Scotland is single malt whiskey. As far as drinks are concerned, you guys make the best whiskey on the planet by far. And we don't even get most of that over here. We get your second rate stuff. The really top rate single malt whiskeys can only be gotten in Scotland. So I am looking forward to that in a big way. Okay, it's all right. I got it here. So let me see. She just sent me a link. See if I can. We're trying to see if we can correct this issue real quick. We have a link here for the. Got it. Okay, there. The chat is up on my computers. Fortunately, I've got two screens, which makes all the difference in the world. So sorry, little minor technical issues here, but got it rectified. So once again, thanks very much. I do appreciate that. Yeah, the Scotland is one of my favorite places on the planet. I've been there many times, and I'll never get sick of it. My daughter took us on a little tour of Scotland, one time of the Lowlands, actually, the border area. She planned it all out, and it was one of the most stunning, gorgeous experiences I'd ever had. And amazingly, it wasn't raining. My relatives in the UK said that you brought all the good weather with you from South Carolina. But in any event, Marcus, thank you so much for the 15 euros. And yes, I will indeed continue to stay angry. There's no way that's going to change anytime soon. Really do appreciate that, Marcus. Thank you so very much. So once again, any other questions, any other comments? Elon Musk is too much of an idealist, says Lord Michael, but his ships and variants thereof will be what is used to take other mining corporations to the asteroids. Yep, Starship's the best way to do it, by far the best way to do it. Let's see. Framework says definitely I reckon asteroid mining will be the Starship deployment choice that totally wins it. There's so much money to take advantage of it. Did my daughter take the Harry Potter tour? I don't know. She didn't come with me to the UK in a long time. We went to Edinburgh briefly with my in-laws, but that was a very long time ago when I took my daughter to the UK. I wanted to take her back and it didn't happen. Excuse me. She caught COVID. Actually, I'm sorry, she didn't catch COVID. It was another development of some kind that came up with her, but I just had to take my son, sadly. But I would have loved for it to have been a family affair. But my son just adored the UK, although we only went southern England and Wales. JT Laser says, why invest billions on asteroid mining when we're one stupid dictator away from Kessler syndrome? Yeah, you're right about that. Thanks for your support. Thanks very much for your support. And yeah, you're absolutely right. All it takes is one more stupid decision, one more dumb anti-sat weapon test, and we are in deep, deep trouble. And it will seal off our access to asteroid mining, to Mars, to the moon, to everything for a considerable period of time until we figure out how to clean all of that out. Bring back those resources. Yep, C-class asteroids, nickel iron rich, maybe some solar power stations. Absolutely. JT Laser, thank you again for your support. Sorry, as a rhetorical question. That sometimes I can be a little slow on those things, but once again, thank you for being so generous. So yeah, I mean, asteroid mining, there's so many potential benefits to it, so much money to be made, and so many ways to support our civilization without destroying our environment and without wrecking regions of our environment that are just utterly ripped to shreds by strip mining and such, especially in Africa, where a lot of the mining is done for rare earths and rare metals. Those are extremely destructive, to say the least. Cleaning up LEO to prevent the Kessler syndrome would help Elon to totally convince the doubters. Yeah, well, be nice if he did. I mean, somebody needs to heavily invest in this. Right now, it's mostly the European Space Agency and the British Space Agency. They don't have a ton of money for that sort of thing, but they are investing in it, and that's good. But we need far, far more aggressive investment in taking care of our space debris problem. Once again, I am deeply, deeply honored that so many of you decided to turn in for all of this. Rodney, thank you for the $20 New Zealand. By the way, I saw a great movie, a little off topic, World's Fastest Indian. I can't believe I never watched that. Amazing, amazing movie. And yeah, it must be a very proud moment for New Zealanders everywhere that land speed record was broken by this quirky fellow who whose record was never been broken since. That's beyond belief. That blew my mind when I watched it, and then I read a great deal of information. But even though it's an old movie, it's been around for 17 years or something like that. The first time I ever saw it. Anthony Hopkins, yeah, he's the man. Anthony Hopkins is the man. I understand he's a tough guy to work with, heavy drinker, that sort of thing. But nevertheless, his acting skills are astonishing. The Shadowlands, one of the best movies ever made. That was unbelievable acting on his part. All right. Well, once again, I am open to your questions and comments, either on live stream Q&A for those of you who are Patreon supporters, or some of the members who click that join button. They have also been part of the Patreon group who are on Discord. welcome to join either way. Thanks very much for that. But we have a comment coming in from Framrick and from Lord Michael Burkhardt. Okay, here's Lord Michael Burkhardt. Cobalt mining is the saddest mining done by children. Yes, indeed. So often because their small bodies can follow the ribbon thin veins the easiest. And it's one of the few industries in the Congo. Yes. And of course, in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, one of the biggest laughs in the history of the world to even call it that. They abuse their children in the worst kind of way. Mining those resources from asteroids would change all of that forever. It would change everything. But unfortunately, we just don't seem to have the vision. We're not investing enough money in it. Think of all the money that it takes to extract minerals from the Congo. I mean, that's incredible. And they're mostly Chinese companies doing it. I mean, that's a huge amount of money invested in it. What if you invested that same money in asteroid mining for the long term benefit of getting a lot more cobalt or other materials? And then and then dominating the market. I mean, why not? Why not? I will be more than happy, by the way, for my trip to the UK. And also, while I'm in Florida, Cape Canaveral for Artemis 1, I will definitely be having get togethers. I would definitely welcome you folks to join me. I'm going to be filming SLS on the pad from a nearby beach, not right before the launch because security will prevent that from happening. But from my understanding, they're not going to close that beach until like 24 hours before the launch, something like that. So as a result, I'm going to have a chance to broadcast from there. So I'm going to do a meetup at that point. Cobalt subsea mining may be better. Yeah, that's possible. Unfortunately, involves nodule extraction from the seabed. Low cobalt batteries would totally remove this. Plus, cobalt-rich asteroids may be resolved. Yes. Quick run through of what is on my shelf. Asks Supax. Okay, here's what we got. On the 27th of this month, coming up really soon, I am going to be in Cape Canaveral for my first night there. The reason I decided to show up a little bit early is so I might get a chance to photograph and film Artemis 1 on the pad from a little bit closer. Then I intend to watch the actual launch on the 29th. If it doesn't launch on the 29th, then things get complicated because I have to go to Britain at the beginning of the following month. I'll have to do a lot of juggling with my plans if I want to stay in Cape Canaveral longer. I'm hoping that they're successful on their first attempt. That's going to be a tough one. But even if they're not, I think it will be amazing to see the rocket in person, to broadcast from there, plus everything else they're doing at the Cape. There's tons of things happening there, and it is enormously crowded, by the way. The huge numbers of tourists there. I'm very glad that I was able to get a hotel room through Marriott. I'm a Marriott Bonvoy member, which always helps me out from a business standpoint. I get a number of free nights, that sort of thing. But nevertheless, I didn't think I'd be able to find anything through Marriott Bonvoy, but I did. So I'll be staying there, and I'll be there through the 29th, and then I'll actually stay the night of the 30th as well, and then I'll be driving straight back. There'll be one of two options. Either I will take a flight from Orlando to New York, and then from New York to the UK, if I don't think I can drive back to Charlotte in time. Or the other option is driving to Charlotte, taking a flight to New York, and then over to the UK. I will be in the UK at least until the 28th and quite possibly longer, depending on how things are going. I have invitations from I can't count how many different space organizations, satellite manufacturers, space manufacturing, Skyrora and Spaceport Cornwall. So many organizations have generously offered me an opportunity to check what they're doing out. In addition to that, depending on how things go, Rocket Factory Augsburg and Munich are eager to have me come out and tour their facilities. And they have a lot of stuff going on there for their upcoming launch of their rocket. And on top of that, I'm also doing an interview with the folks who are putting out what I called the European Crew Dragon. And they may offer me an opportunity or an invitation to come visit them as well. So I've got a full ass schedule. Let's put it that way. A lot of stuff going on, and it wouldn't have happened. None of this would have been possible without you guys. So thank you so much. I am so deeply appreciative for this. And you guys are going to get awesome content. I'm talking content that nobody else has covered. Nobody's ever toured RFA, to my knowledge. Nobody on YouTube, to my knowledge, has ever toured their facilities. That's going to be awesome. Spaceport Cornwall has not been very well covered. A couple of folks like Total Space, they covered it a few months ago, but not a lot of YouTubers have covered that. So you'll be checking that out in person. Yes, the Total Space covers everything that happens in space flight all over the world. So make sure to check in with them. Oh, we have somebody talking to us from maybe some with some content from another channel as well from To the Future. Looking forward to the future. Excellent. Okay, somebody may be coming back to the Future for you guys, all you To the Future fans. I can't say who it is, but somebody may be coming back. So keep your ears open for that one, and make sure that you hit your notification bells on To the Future, the channel that helped me get my start. Frankly, if they had not helped me and done these collaborative videos when I only had 1,000 subscribers, I wouldn't be the channel I was today. So I'm deeply appreciative to everything they've ever done for me. Okay, let's see. Oh, the actual question is what's actually on the shelf. Sorry, an Axiom water bottle. We got Laika right there. Laika, the Russian dog who sadly died during the test. We have Rocky the Rocket. Yes, ULA does have a mascot, and yes, it's called Rocky the Rocket. We, of course, have the Dynetics lunar lander that's sitting there. We've also got some fragments from the Boeing Starliner that I blew to hell a while ago. We also have, and I'm sure some of you have seen this before, we have a piece of SN9. This thing was generously given to me. Mars Embassy, thank you so much for your generosity, by the way. Mars Embassy, very class act. Go ahead and subscribe to his channel as well. Yeah, a fragment off of SN9, really super cool. I feel very lucky that I happened to come across that. Of course, we have Crew Dragon. We also have this little Lego setup of the Lego setup for the Lunar Gateway, the earlier version, the Lego's earlier concept for the Lunar Gateway. That's what's on the shelf. So sorry for misunderstanding, but then again, at least you guys got to hear everything I've got coming up. Framrick, thank you so much for all the kind words. Really would like to see the European Crew Dragon or Space Rider. Would be excellent. Unlikely the ESA is too timid for this sort of stuff. Yep, I have to admit though, the CEO, a lady, by the way, lady CEO of the folks who make the Nix, who are manufacturing the Nix, she was really, really grateful and talked very extensively about the generous support that they are getting from the ESA. Maybe the ESA is really interested in catapulting their program into human spaceflight. Who really knows? 164 people watching. Thank you. Please like, please subscribe. Also, hit those notification buttons. Man, that makes a big difference to this channel. I should have realized that earlier, but only about 15-20% of my subscribers have done that. If I had a lot more than that, it would change everything for this channel. So thanks very much for tuning in. Please hit those notifications. I'm still open for a couple, one or two more questions. If you guys, if anybody has anything else they'd like to ask, Framrick is typing out for us right now. One of the oldest and most loyal supporters of this channel. By the way, I've known Framrick for quite some time. He's in the UK, and he is a nuclear physicist. Gives me lots and lots of information that I need whenever I want to talk about nuclear propulsion. So in any event, once again, a quick reminder to the future is going to be coming back with a new edition. That's all I'm going to say. New edition and pretty exciting stuff. I think you guys are going to freak out. Okay, waiting here. Up there we go. Do I reckon the shocks of F9 reuse and Starship and Chinese reusable launchers will shock ESA into investing in reusable European landers? Yes, indeed, I do. The Europeans are already going to be testing a reusable launcher sometime next year. It's going to be in Sweden, and it's going to be small scale, but nevertheless, they are definitely moving towards reusability. They finally recognize that that is incredibly important. Guys, I deeply appreciate how so many of you tuned in today. Once again, if you want to participate in these sorts of special events, feel free to join me on Patreon or hit that join button to become an Angry Advocate. I'm going to be doing these sorts of events once every 2 weeks if I can. So thanks so much. And until the rest of the world gets as enthusiastic about spaceflight as you guys are, I urge all of you to stay angry about space.